Leadership is not just about getting work done. It's about actually improving others, developing those people. And you can't do that unless you have a good, solid relationship. You can't have the conversations you need to. You can't call bullshit on things. And if you don't have the right kind of relationship, because people will get sensitive about that. But you've got to be able to have the right conversations early and often. And tough conversations are part of that.
Welcome to Grow Think Tank. This is the one and only place where you will get insight from the founders and the CEOs of the fastest growing privately held companies. I am the host. My name is Gene Hammett. I help leaders and their teams navigate the defining moments of their growth. Are you ready to grow?
Today we're going to talk about tough conversations, but one element of it that will really help you have the next tough conversation that you need to have. That one element is what happens after the tough conversation. My hope is that when you see an opportunity for a tough conversation with an employee, that you don't let that fester, you don't ignore it, you don't tolerate it. You figure out a way to address it quickly, early, and often. I say that with a smile because I know this is one of the biggest challenges with tough conversations, and it will help you actually be a better leader when you understand what happens after the tough conversation. My name is Gene Hammett. I love being an executive coach. I work with a lot of companies that are in growth mode. Many of my clients are in the Inc. 5000. Some of the clients have grown past that, but it is something I've been doing for the last 10 plus years. I love helping companies grow, helping them see the things that they don't see, and giving them tools and frameworks that speed their acceleration to be better leaders and therefore have more predictable success. If we can help you in any way, I'd love to help you. I also am the co-author of this book, How to Have Tough Conversations. And if you're looking at the video, then I'm holding the book up. There's also a little bit of a light behind me that says How to Have Tough Conversations. This is what I'm known for. So let's dive into this. What happens after the tough conversation? I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people, try to figure out how to have the tough conversation. They focus so much on getting the courage to do it. And I get it. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, and it's you're not sure how to say it, and you want to make sure you say it right, and you want to make sure you lead that person, and so you get it right. I appreciate the intentionality behind that, but let's focus on what happens after. One thing that happens after is you can breathe easy knowing that you were a courageous leader, that you actually saw something and you addressed it with that person. So that's first and foremost. I love the fact that you use courage over and over again as a leader. And this is just one place to express that. Another element to what happens after a tough conversation is the relationship between you and that person should get better. You should have an increased level of trust if you do this well. Inside the book is a lot of tools and frameworks, but it is a place to improve on the relationship between you two. Leadership is not just about getting work done. It's about actually improving others, developing those people. And you can't do that unless you have a good, solid relationship. You can't have the conversations you need to. You can't call bullshit on things. And if you don't have the right kind of relationship, because people will get sensitive about that. But you've got to be able to have the right conversations early and often. And tough conversations are part of that. And so you rebuild trust after the conversation. There's a third thing that happens too that I wanted to highlight for you. When you have the tough conversation, you address the issue, things get better. You actually talk more. You're actually able to talk about the issue or talk about other issues because you were able to do it the right way. I keep saying this, do it the right way. I'm not here in this video to tell you how to do it. I'm actually just highlighting after the conversation, the tough conversation specifically, you change. You get to prove that you're courageous and that you can address these things. You get to improve the relationship, and you also get to get more work done, better in alignment, more performance. All that stuff happens after the tough conversation. So let me share a story with you where I've seen this happen many, many times before. And this is from the book. So I'll just kind of if you haven't read the book, this is your sample. But I had a client of mine who was going on vacation, and one of the rules I actually employ, and it's not a rule, it's just kind of a strategy, if you will, is when you go on vacation, I really want you to be on vacation. I don't want you to be checking email all the time and having a bunch of business phone calls, and try to say to yourself, I'll just get a little bit of work done in the morning, and then I'll be able to spend time with my family or spend time relaxing, whatever it may be. No, I believe that when you go on vacation, you really should go on vacation for the entire span of time week or 2 weeks at a time so that you recharge, come back to work, fully ready to come back to work. But what gets in the way of that? Well, sometimes people need you. They need you to answer questions, make decisions, or they need to keep you in the loop, or you want to show up to that important sales call. I get it. But when you have a team that you empower, you're able to go on vacation. So one of the things I ask my clients to do is meet with every one of their direct reports and make sure they set expectations, make sure they understand how to address things if they do have it, what reasons why they should call you or contact you, what reasons why they shouldn't. It can be a short meeting, and it's pretty much the same for everyone other than the context of the work inside there. And so if you're completely unavailable, because sometimes our vacations are like that, we go to a place where we're not going to have a phone, we're going to go hiking, we don't have cell coverage. And so you want to let them know you won't be able to get in touch with me. So handle it yourself. Take a level of ownership of all the things. But inside the story, the CEO does all that with his direct reports. He goes on vacation. They don't contact him. He comes back. And then they actually realize that the work didn't get done. I say they, the CEO, realizes that for one developer on his team, they only did like a day's worth of work, not 5 days worth of work. So they're behind. And I asked him, one of my favorite questions from the book, How to Have Tough Conversations, is what is the missing conversation that hasn't happened yet? And his response to me was focused on the symptoms, which is very common, and said, how do we make up the time? How do we get back on track? But that wasn't the real issue. The missing conversation, actually, if I probed into the CEO, he came back and said, are they committed to being here? Is that developer committed to being here and doing the work? And so he had that conversation. Do you see how there's two separate conversations? You could say, how are we going to catch up, and how committed are you to working here? And the commitment was a much deeper conversation that was more effective long-term, because all of this is about what happens after the conversation. So that's the context. What happened after the conversation is pretty beautiful. I remember this happening a few years ago with my client. And now when I talk with my client, every time he goes, my team is doing great. This person has just really excelled to the next level. And even on Tuesday, he said, I think they're better and faster than me now at these parts of the job. And I love that for him, but hopefully you zero in on this. What happens after the tough conversation? Things get better. People take ownership. People knows what's expected of them. And you're able to get more work done, more higher performance. All of those are good things. So just remind yourself of that when you have the next tough conversation, that it can be better on the other side of it. My name is Gene Hammett. I help fast growth companies grow from where they are today, create predictable success. We do that by leadership at all levels. CEO coaching is great. C-suite alignment coaching is fantastic, but also development of the managers into the leaders you need them to be creates ownership and leadership at all levels of the company. And that's what we really do inside of our company. But what we actually do is increase revenue and performance of your company. So if you're curious about the work we do, reach out. I'd love to talk to you. Just go to coreelevation.com and you can schedule for a call. When you think of growth and you think of leadership, think of Growth Think Tank. As always, lead with courage. We'll see you next time.